So, hello there, and welcome to my first tutorial. Now, you might ask yourselves, what on earth do we need another tutorial for in VTOL VR? There are so incredibly many good ones made for this sim, which is true. And I've used many of them myself to familiarize myself with many of the aspects of this sim. But there's one thing that's missing, and that is, about basic flight training and how to behave around an airport when you're a pilot. There are certain things other pilots expect, and there are certain things air traffic controllers expect. And for those of you who are curious and would like to know more about those things and how to fly, shall we say, in a more natural manner around an airport when you want to practice, I thought I should give you a lesson in that. Okay, I shall start taxiing out the aircraft, and I'll talk a little bit as I taxi.
Copy. Taxi to runway 28.
Okay, runway 28 it is, and we shall start taxiing. Okay, so I am an air traffic controller by trade. I've done that for 22 years, and I've worked both civilian and military traffic with, more time done military traffic, both in Norway and Sweden. Okay, as you can see, we have lots of mountains around here, and a city, and it's not exactly the optimal place for an airport, but we're gonna make this work anyway. So, what we are going to do today is we're going to practice something called touch and goes. I'm quite sure many of you know what it is, but for those of you who do not know what it is, it's several landings and successive takeoffs, without stopping the aircraft. And then you just, after every departure or takeoff, you make a left turn and you fly along the runway, and then you turn left again to get to the final of the runway that you want to land on.
Tower, cleared for takeoff at runway 28.
So, again, after departure or takeoff in that direction, make a left turn, fly along the runway in that direction, make a left turn for final, and then you line up with the runway again, and then you land, accelerate again, retract flaps, and take off again. That's called a touch and go, and the flying that you do close to the airport in this manner is called the traffic circuit. So, we'll line up, and then we shall do our first circuit, followed by a touch and go. Now, don't pay too much attention to my flying, because I'll be talking to you and explaining, so I'm sure that it's going to be looking a little bit sloppy, but what's important in this tutorial is the traffic pattern and what to do. Okay, we are lining up. Now, what altitude should you fly at in the traffic pattern? Well, that always is dependent on local rules and regulations. Well, we don't exactly have that here. It's a simulator. And it's also dependent on how high above sea level the airport is. Because as a pilot, you always, almost always, refer to your altitude as in relation to the sea level. Now, we can see the sea over there. And that means that this airport is fairly close to sea level. So, a normal circuit altitude would be around 1,000 feet. Now, we have some obstacles. We have buildings, we have that city, and behind us we also have obstacles in the approach sector. So, I'll try and do it around 1,500 feet. Okay, so, we're going to accelerate, take off, climb a little bit, left turn, follow the runway, or we're going to fly on the other side of that city. So it's not going to be exactly 90 degrees or 180 degrees parallel to the runway. And then we're going to turn left, and then we're going to line up for final. Okay, I'll be talking a little bit as I fly as well. But for now, let's take off. Okay, brakes in, and apply thrust. And I always set flaps 1 for departures, afterburner in, and let go. I shall be rotating around 200 knots, I think. Yeah, something around that. And gear up. Flaps up. Afterburns off, that's good. This is a quite fast aircraft. As you can see, it's not ideal with so many obstacles in the climb out sector. So, and we also have to do a very hard left turn to fly downwind, which we have to, of course, arrange so it is on the other side of the city. Wouldn't be very safe to fly over it at low altitude. I think the inhabitants of that city, the city center, would be quite mad if we did that, you know, perhaps 50 times a day, as can happen on these air bases. Okay, we are on the downwind. Actually, this goes really fast, so we are almost ready to turn base. Yeah, I think I'll have to start turning base soon because those mountains there are coming up on me quite fast. So let's turn base. We are bleeding off speed, that's good. Landing speed should be around, 180 knots or something like that with this aircraft, as I've tested it and tried it out, but with lower is also fine, I'm guessing. Out with the gear, down the flaps. You have to bleed off that speed. Flaps and gear will help with that. And we're down to 240 knots already. That's good. And yeah, engine output is quite low. We'll have to keep an eye on that as we are nearing 200 knots. Yeah, went a little bit through the center line there, but that's okay. At this airport is to be expected. Looks like we're going to be quite on the money with the speed there. Lining up the speed vector with the fixed distance marking. The fixed distance marking is the first fully filled markings on either side of the runway, just on the other side of the number 28. Yeah, our speed is good. Lineup's good. And we shall do the touch. And landing. And flaps 1. Whoops, you have to. Come on. Accelerate. This wasn't too nice on the runway, but it's fine. And we can rotate again. Gear up. Flaps up. We can reduce engine output a little bit. So this turn we do here after climb out, that's called the crosswind turn. And that's what we're doing now. Crosswind turn, straight into downwind. And then the turn at the other side of the downwind is called the base turn. Now, many NATO pilots, they always call, in the base turn, they call base turn, gear down, full stop. Base turn indicating that they're in the base turn, gear down indicating that they have deployed the landing gear, and full stop is to indicate that they want to land and not to make a touch and go. If they want to make a touch and go, they say base leg, gear down, touch and go. Can vary a little bit according to which country you are in, but that's mostly what NATO pilots do. Oh, this is going quite fast. I'm going to be deploying the speed brake a little bit. Yeah, there we go. The speed is coming down. Gear, flaps 2.
Landing gear.
Yeah, we're going to continue the turn. Can even ask for landing permission.
Tower,
we didn't do that
clear to
earlier.
land at runway 28.
Yeah, it's a little bit steep, but that's fine. This is a VTOL aircraft. It's going to be built for these kind of approaches. Line up a little bit better. There we go. Speed vector really helps you with that. It's a really good tool. And there we go. Yeah, so that was the traffic circuit followed by touch and go. And this is a thing that pilots all around the world do to practice in pretty much any kind of aircraft. Civilian airline pilots, they have simulators for this, of course, but most other pilots, including military, they do this in their own aircraft. Yeah, that's it. I'm sure you guys can taxi in yourselves. Okay, thank you for watching my tutorial, and have a nice day.